when we'll call a language as general purpose, when we can develop any type of applications in it. Means it's not domain specific. Means it is not a language specific only for that type of work. Like if you consider PHP, it is only for web development, right? If you consider Fortran, so it is only for scientific calculations. Getting? Or if you consider Logo, so it is only for graphics pattern printing. So these languages are domain specific. Getting? But the language which we are going to discuss, that is C, is general purpose. General purpose means all types of applications you can develop. Getting? You can develop scientific applications, means numerical computations. You can develop GUI also. You can create your GUI, that is graphical user interface applications. Then you can develop different animations, database applications, system programs. Means you can develop your own editor, compiler, your new OS using the language. So application area, network programming, means you can create your socket programming. Socket means communicating between two different machines, two different distributed programs. One program is on one machine, another program is another machine, and then they are communicating with each other. So all types of applications. Correct? Is just to list out few, like system programming you can do in it. System programming means you're understanding, no? Creating your own compiler, your own editor, your own OS you can develop. Then graphics applications, right? Even initially, very long back, web development was also possible in C, but nowadays there are many more technologies have come more better, therefore C has gone little in the back step or back foot, you can say. But initially web development was also done in C. Get it? Then scientific application, right? And many, even database applications, many applications you can develop in one language only, and therefore it is general purpose. So first I'm just covering with these terminologies, and then we will give a proper definition of C. Next is block structured. Okay? Now block structured means this language gives facility of grouping the statements, your instructions, whatever instructions are there in your program, you can logically group them. Getting? Not only instructions, some declarations, like you're declaring some variables and some instructions that you can logically group. Okay? And that group of logical statements is actually called as a block. Different languages have different way of writing block. Okay? Block means what? Just remember, block means a logical, that is related statements. Okay? The logical group of statements and some declaration. A bunch of statements or a related statements group is called as a block. Okay? So block structured language means it gives facility of writing blocks. Some languages give block facility this way, by writing word begin and end. The common one is Pascal. In Pascal, every block is written using begin end. Whereas in C it is indicated by open brace, close brace. So open brace indicate the start of a block and close brace indicate end of the block, and inside that you can group your statements and declarations. Different declarations and statement can be grouped into this one block. So that is the speciality. The block structured language means what? That is next clear to you. Then procedural. Okay? Now procedural concept means what? So it says that you can split your problem. If you have a very big problem, so you can divide that problem into smaller problem. Okay? Very basic level problems. So your problem is very big, you can divide that problem into smaller problem. Correct? Then we'll call it as problem 1, problem 2, problem 3. And for each problem, you can write a block. Getting this procedural is depending on block concept only. Means every procedure is a block. This way you can remember. So you can write, means you can divide your bigger problem. That is the main approach. You can divide your main problem, a very complex problem, into smaller problem. And for every smaller problem, you can write a separate block. But you can give a name to it. And then you can call these blocks any number of time. Means you can reuse these blocks. Reuse means you can utilize this code any number of time wherever you want. You understanding? Clear? You'll get this benefit when we'll come to functions chapter in C. When there's a separate chapter called function, there you'll understand this concept, how we can divide a complex problem into smaller problem and then reuse the logic. Getting? Like suppose I want to do addition of two matrices. Getting? So to do addition of matrices, I'm going to divide it into smaller problem, accept, add and print. Getting? So I'll write one logic for accepting matrix, one logic for addition of matrix, one logic for printing. But now this printing logic I have to call 3 times. So I can reutilize the same code. One matrix printing, second matrix printing, third matrix. So 3 times I won't write the code. I'll write it once only and I'll just call it 3 times. Getting? So that is the benefit of procedural approach. So procedural concept means what? I hope you're understanding. Dividing bigger problem into smaller problem. And for every small problem, we write a separate blocks. And that each separate blocks are called as procedures. Getting? Then case sensitive. Okay. Now case sensitive means uppercase and lowercase is differentiated. It matters. Means case matters. Means you're typing the code in any way, in uppercase or lowercase, and it will work. It's not like that. Like if you have some basic knowledge about HTML, so you'll see that in HTML you write the tags in any case. Like you are writing HTML, tag HTML in small, or tag HTML complete upper, or H capital and then HTML small. Doesn't matter. No? Getting? So there are many languages which are case insensitive. But when we say the language is case sensitive, so in that the uppercase and lowercase matters. Getting? Means some things are there which are strictly to be written in lowercase, like some reserve words, if, for, while. All these things you have to write in lowercase only. Or you create your variable. So if you are creating a variable age is small. But if you do capital AG or A capital GE small, so while spelling out it is same, but for the program they 3 are different. This is different, this is different, this is different. Getting? Why? Because case sensitive. Okay? And free flow. Now free flow means what? When all these terms are clear, then I'm going to again ask you, all the things are clear to you. Free flow means what? That the program is not having any predefined structure and you have to type the program in that format only. Nothing like that. Means what they say is if you're typing any program on different lines and putting tabs and all, or you're typing it on the same line, doesn't matter. Example I'll tell you. I'm writing void main, okay? Then open brace, then I'm putting a tab, then I'm putting printf hello semicolon, then return, or I've not written, clear, and the close brace. Now I have typed in this way, okay? Each thing on the separate line, then appropriate place I've put a tab. You understanding? But if I type the whole thing on same line, getting printf hello, then also it is going to give you the same output. Or if I write void main open bracket close bracket then brace bracket, then I'm writing printf, okay, I'll show you all these things. Okay, and then open bracket and then hello. After so much blank lines, then I'll write hello, then the close bracket somewhere here, and then close. Still all three programs are same. Means this program and this program, they all are going to give you the same output, doesn't matter. Means it is not having any predefined format or pre-decided structure, and you have to type your code in that structure. Means you write the code on the same line, or you put tabs and new lines and spacing and all, well formatting you're doing, then also the program is going to run. Therefore it is called free form. Some languages are there which are not free form, getting, like Python is there, or very old language like COBOL. In case of COBOL, though, it was so perfect that COBOL is a language when keyboards were not introduced. That time card readers were there. Programs were to be punched on a card, and then that cards were given to the card reader, and then the program used to get loaded in memory. So the program was getting punched on a card. So that time the pattern was fixed, that line number from 1 to 6 only. Means columns 1 to 6 is for line number. 7 is just to put a comment. From 8 only verbs will start, and these verbs will go till 72th column, and then from 73 till 80 it was a scratch pad, rough work. So your program is to be fitted in this pattern only. Clear? You cannot go beyond or before. You cannot start the verb from column 8 before. You have to start from 8 only. So that was the rule in language like COBOL. Getting? So COBOL cannot be called as a free form, but C is a free form. So why it is called free form, I hope you got it. Okay, the program is not having any pre-decided structure. Okay, you can type the entire code on single line, or you can type the code by putting new lines and then tabs and well formatting. Still the result will be same. Getting? Then next is about portable. Okay, now portable concept means what? You can easily move your code from one system to another. Getting? One system meaning from one machine to another, but the architectures and the OS are different. Then also your source code doesn't change. Clear? Meaning, suppose pictorially I'll try to show you. It will be more clear to you guys. Now suppose this is one system with Unix derivative, that is Linux, and we are going to do all C programs on Linux system only. Linux distributive, that is either on Ubuntu, because I guess in your colleges also they might have told you to use this only, not Windows based. Sure, no? Why? Because nearly all colleges are recommending use open source OS. I guess, like, if they have allowed you to use any, then it's okay, but I'm sure maximum colleges say use any open source operating system, that is derivative of Unix. So either Ubuntu, CentOS, Mandriva, SUSE, Open Solaris, so many are there. All are derivatives of Unix. Okay? So if it is a Unix system and if it is a Windows system, okay, and you have written a program for factorial, okay, so the program is not going to change for other system. It is going to remain same. Getting? So the source code for Unix based system and the source code for Windows based system is going to remain same. So suppose you have typed one program of C on Unix based, so you can take it and bring it directly on Windows system and compile it and try to run it. Getting? It will work. So that is portability. Portability meaning it is not like moving from one machine to another. But if the other machine is also having Linux, so that we don't call it as. I'm saying cross-platform. Getting? So here it is Linux system, here it is Windows. This program I'm just porting means I'm just moving this program in this system, which is Windows based. then also I don't have to make change in my source code. The source code will remain same. So that is called portable. ठीक है, तो C programs are portable, means you don't have to make any changes in your program if you're moving from one system to another. The same program for other systems also. Correct? And finally, that is high level. Correct? So high level programming language. High level, why I have to call it? Because it is more closer towards natural language, that is C. Natural language like English. Okay, so it's more closer to English like. So as we express anything in English, same way you are trying to express your algorithm to the machine in this language. Therefore, it is high level. But many books say it is middle level. Now you'll say middle level. Many books they mention कि C is middle level. ठीक है? Now why middle level? I tell you, because it is having this high level language features. It is having high level language feature. Therefore, ultimately C is a high level language only. So it's having high level language features, but it has given some features by which you can deal with the hardware also. You can deal at low level also. You understanding? Means you can control different hardwares. You can control your keyboard, you can control mouse, you can control serial port. Correct? You can access your memory also, and you can do any damage in it also. And that's the reason many viruses are written using C language. Correct? Even antiviruses are also written using C language. Correct? So C gives low level access also. Correct? Like bitwise operators, pointers. We'll come to chapter called pointer. That time you'll realize that thing more in detail. So using bitwise operator, pointers, we can access hardwares also. So at a low level also the controlling is there. That's the reason it's called middle level. Why middle level? Because it gives both the features. That is high level features also as well as low level. Therefore, many books say it is to be called as a middle level, but originally it is a high level language. Okay? So when I'll combine this all thing, I'll call it as a C. Okay? So I can say like C is a general purpose, block structured, procedural, case sensitive, free flow, portable, high level programming language. Okay? And developed by Dennis Ritchie. Okay? In year 1972. Okay? Now where? So at AT&T means American Telegraph and Telecom. Okay? Means their postal and phone department is combined one organization. Like in India also we have a postal department, and then we have telecom department, BSNL. BSNL is a government telephone company. So now in India there are many private telephone companies, that is okay, but government telephone companies we have. So that is BSNL. So postal and BSNL combined. So in America it is AT&T. So we call it as AT&T Bell Laboratories. Getting? USA. Actually it is New Jersey, Murray Hill, USA. Okay? So in this Bell Labs, Dennis Ritchie was a very lead programmer, or you can say a very prominent person, getting a legend person in Bell Laboratories, and he invented in around 1972 C programming. Okay, and the first powerful thing which was developed using C was Unix operating system. Unix today also is considered as the most powerful operating system. So that OS was developed in this language. Getting? So we are coming to the evolution of it, how C ultimately came into existence, why the name C only was given, and then what are the different standards which have come after 1972. Means first C was 1970, but after that many different standards of C have come. Evolution has taken place. Okay, So what are that? All that we'll talk about it. But before that, what we can call a C language as. So we'll say C is, means we can define that way. C is general purpose, block structured, procedural, case sensitive, free flow, portable, high level programming language developed by Dennis Ritchie in 1972 at AT&T Bell Labs, USA. Getting? So hope this part is clear to you guys. Okay? So quickly can you just recall, okay, all these terms are clear to you. Okay? Then I'll come to the evolution. Don't worry. How different languages came into existence and why the name was C only given to it. Everything I'll tell you. Okay? So just give me the confirmation. You're hearing me, all of you? Okay. Prishita, she left out. Prishita had joined today. Okay, anyways. Maybe some technical issue. Okay. So just quickly, can you recall what all things I told? How you can define C as? C is general purpose. Why we should call general purpose, that is clear to you? In short, can you tell me why we call general purpose? If you're not able to type, you can unmute and you can answer me. It doesn't matter. Quickly. Because as fast you are in replying, we can move forward that quickly. More applications based, meaning you can develop any type of application, right? In short, means you can develop graphics applications, scientific applications, network applications, system programs. You can develop system program, database applications. All types of applications can be developed in C. Okay, good. Then block structured, right? Rishabh and all, you're able to hear me, na? Sakshi, Rishabh. Block structured. Why we call it as block structured? No? Please answer, guys. Need quick response from you guys.
They provide proper starting and ending, like
Right. Okay. Okay, right. You're not able to hear me, Rishabh. Rishabh is having some network issue. Okay. She said that you can group your statements logically. Logically, you can group the statements, and that group of statements only we call it as a block by putting a proper start and end. So some languages we have word like begin end, some language brace bracket. So in C it is brace bracket, open brace, close brace. We'll make it as one block. So in that you can put your related statement, the declarations. Get it? Then procedural. So procedural, Astik has already mentioned. Procedural means you can divide big problems into smaller problems, and that each small problem is a block, but we give some name to it and you can reuse it. One block can be called any number of times. So that is procedural concept. Very good. Clear? Case sensitivity. That is clear to you. Case sensitivity means uppercase lowercase is different. It treats uppercase lowercase separately. Means something are there which you have to write in lowercase only. And suppose you create a variable, okay, so if it is in uppercase and if it is lowercase, it will treat them differently. They are not one and the same thing. Free flow. Is concept of free flow also clear to you guys? Yes. So free flow means you can type the entire code in single line only, or you're splitting it on separate lines and putting tabs and making it well readable. Then also it is one and the same thing. So if you type an entire code on single line, okay, the entire code you are typing on the same line, or you are dividing the code into separate lines and putting tabs and all, still it is same. Okay. And then portable, concept of portable. Now you are able to hear Rishabh. Today lot of technical issue, I guess. Astik also got disconnected. Rishita also got disconnected. Portable.
Portable means we can use the same source code for different systems,
Yes, very good.
operating
Clear.
systems.
Means you don't have to. Okay. Okay. Okay, no issues. So we will just recall this and then we will take a pause. Okay. It's saying there is a lot of disturbance. Okay. Sakshi, you are able to hear me properly?
Yes, sir.
So actually depends on the network. Okay, so she said, right? Sakshi said that it is portable means you don't have to write separate code for different system. If I've written a code for Linux, I can take the same code and try to give to the compiler of Windows. Still it will work. So factorial program for Linux and factorial program for Windows is not going to be different. It is same. And last, high level. So is the term high level also clear to you? It is more like natural language, and natural language like English. So it is more closer to human language like English. So as we express anything in English, we are expressing the same thing in C program. Okay. But in many books actually they say C is middle level. So why I gave you the reason, it is having the feature of high level also. High level features means it's more of English like. If I want to write a decision, if this, do this, else do this, or do this till this the condition doesn't complete. So as I'm talking in English, the same way you can write your program. Or in algebra, as we write equations, big complex equation. So similar equations you can type in your program. But it is having low level features also. Like through C, you can control hardware, you can manipulate your memory, you can manipulate your system. Therefore, many books call it as middle level, and developed by Dennis Ritchie, as I said, 1972, AT&T Bell Labs, New Jersey, Murray Hill, USA. Okay, this till here, the concept I hope is clear to you all. Just quickly we'll see the evolution of C. Okay, how different versions of C have come. Okay, and how the development of C started actually, and why the name C they gave. Okay, so that just quickly I'll tell you, and then we will just wind up with the session. Okay, in 1967, okay, Martin Richards. Okay, Martin Richard in Cambridge University actually. Okay, so Martin Richard in around 1967. Just imagine how many years back, 67, and actually first programming language came in 1950. That is Fortran and all. where when India was just uh, a republic country, okay? Whereas these people had started doing work in computers that time. You understanding? So 1967, Martin Richards, he developed one language called BCPL. Okay, BCPL means Basic Combined Programming Language. Yes, so this language main goal was for developing system programs. Okay, my intention of this language, they had developed this language for creating system programs. And yesterday I told you guys about application program and system program, right? Now I had given you the uh, difference between application and system program. So system program means programs which help us uh, to develop user program. Means our programs are developed with the help of these system programs, in which compilers, editors, linker, loader, OS all come under it. So to develop such system programs, this language was invented, that is BCPL. But it was too general and too abstract. Abstract meaning it was having so many features that people were not able to understand each and every feature in detail. So few features, so some features were not known only to so many people. So we can say like that कि it is so huge language कि all things to understand was difficult. Okay, so that is system program. So system programs like OS compilers, they were developed using this BCPL. But as I said, it was having drawback. Therefore, gradually people were trying to invent some other language. So in around 1970, okay, Keen Thompson. Okay, now Keen Thompson is also one of the member of creating Unix. I am sure Unix operating system you might have heard about. Clear, very old OS and very powerful. Okay, means you cannot compare it with Windows, right? Windows is a copied OS. Bill Gates, he copied the concept and then he tried to make it. But Unix is the most powerful OS, which is created in C. But in making of Unix, one member is Keen Thompson. Okay, so remember the Keen Thompson at AT&T Bell Labs only in around 1970. He developed one language called B, which was from BCPL. But from BCPL, you can say it is a stripped version. Okay? Stripped version means you got it. A lot of unwanted things or the concepts which who was not understanding. People, programmer, people means not general programmer, general people, programmers only, computer professionals, those who were trying to use this language. Lot of features were there which were difficult to understand or to abstract language. So those all features were stripped, and that Keen Thompson came with one language. Okay? Stripped version of BCPL, you can say, and he gave the name to it as B. Now you'll say ki why B? So he thought of a very funny reason it is. There is no big history behind it. B, because he said ki the ancestor of that previous language from which it is derived, the first letter of that BCPL is B. So he thought of using B. Let's take the first word of its ancestor language. Ancestor means you got it. No? So let us take the first letter of its ancestor language and give name to it. So he took that letter B and he named it as B. Getting? And this language was used in Unix making. Means in making of Unix. Okay, now you'll say what is full form of Unix and all. I'll tell you, but now it is not needed. Or whenever you'll study Unix internals and all in your 4 years academics of engineering, you'll come to know it. But Unix operating systems initial making, but that was not a complete Unix development. Again, reconstruction of Unix was done later in C. Okay, so Unix making B was used, but again it was having some drawback, like it was typeless. Typeless meaning there was no data type to your variables. Means whenever you'll create a variable, uh, what should be the data type of that variable, whether int or a float or a double or a character, nothing like that. It was typeless. Means any variable you create, all variables will get one byte word. One word memory, sorry, one word memory. So every variable fixed memory. Getting? So that was some drawbacks in it, and they tried to come with a next language, and that was 1972. Dennis Ritchie, he came with, okay, language called C. Okay, and C is not typeless, and it is more of like BCPL only. I mean, a lot of concepts like if, for loops, while loops, and writing procedures, passing parameters, a lot of things he took from BCPL only, but he made it a, a strict type language, not a typeless language. You understanding? Strict type language, meaning for different type of values there are different data types. Like if you have whole numbers, it is integer, separate memory. Floating point number, so we have float. More precision, we have double. Getting? If you want to store characters, there is a different data type. So different data types were made. Now you'll say why they call it as C. Okay, here also again a funny reason. Don't at all try to find out any full form of C, because C doesn't have only full form. It is just the next letter which comes in alphabetic sequence after B. So the ancestor language of C is B, and he thought of like in the alphabet set, who comes after B? C, and therefore he gave name C. Getting? So after C, possible there can be a language D. So there was actually language D. Language D was also introduced, but it didn't took market so much. And exactly like D is C hash. That is C sharp, we call it as C sharp. C sharp is the same version of D language, but D language came many years later. Okay? So what I wanted to say is clear. So in 1972, Dennis Ritchie he invented C, which is a strict type language which is derived from BCPL, and the very powerful thing which was made from C is Unix OS. Getting? Multi-user operating system. Okay, the most powerful operating system, a multi-user operating system that was developed in C called as Unix. Getting? So till 1972, I hope you got it. Right? Now, that time, once this C was invented in 1972, many other people started developing their own versions of C. Getting? Language C, but they were making their own independent versions in which there were little changes. Major is same, that is Dennis Ritchie's C only, but every, like one X group is there, another Y group is there, Z group is there. They all started developing their own C. Language name they kept C. Everything copied from this C, but little bit changes in it. Correct? So these people said that, like whole over globe there are so many programmers and all want to develop their applications in C. So there should be some uniformity. There should be some standardization. Getting? So now the standardization for C started coming. Means now they started thinking of creating some standard C which will be acceptable to all in the entire globe. Correct? And in around 1978, okay, one more person joined with Dennis, and he is called as Brian Cunningham. Okay, Cunningham we call it, Cunningham, like that is how you pronunciation matters, like, so we call it as Cunningham. So Brian Cunningham and Dennis Ritchie. They reinvented their C, means they came with their modified C. There were some changes in this C and this C. Clear? So this is the ancestral C. The original C is Dennis C. Then the next C, that is Brian Cunningham and Dennis Ritchie C. Okay, which is very famous, called as KNRC. They came with their book also. It's a very famous book, Programming in C by KNR. That book is freely available on internet. If you get a chance to Google and search it, if you don't have, I'll give you. Okay, I'll give you that book. That book is written by these two people, Brian Cunningham and Dennis Ritchie. So he joined with his work and they came with the next version of C in 1978, which was obviously based on the original C, but some changes were done. Clear? Now you won't understand, but when I'll come to programming, I'll tell you what were the changes from this C to this C. Okay? Then again, after that, some people thought of creating more standard version of it. So in around 1989, okay, one committee was formed, and that committee was formed for creating a standard version of C which can be accepted by all, and that committee is called as a ANSI committee. Many people ANSI also they call it as, that is American National Standard Institute. So that ANSI C means that committee was formed for creating a standard version of C. Okay, so we call it as ANSI C also, or standard C. So today also in many books which C is taught is actually this ANSI C. Now many books don't teach this KNRC, they tell about ANSI C. But after that also so many variations have come and so many changes, but still many books teach about ANSI C. Getting? So it's also called as standard C, or it is called as C89C. Okay, then after that in around 1990, another committee was formed, that is called as International Organization for Standardization. So they came with their C called as a ISO C, or it is also called as C90C. In that some changes from ANSI. So now you'll say that today if I want to use this one, so how? So by default today also, if you compile your program, it is compiled with this ANSI standard. If you want this other standard, so during compilation you have to tell that please compile using this standard. Default it is compiled using ANSI standard. Getting? Then after that in 1999, C99C came into existence. Now C99 standard, why they introduced? To incorporate C++ also. So now just remember, like, to incorporate which language also in that compiler? C++, because actually C++ is just the incremented form of C. Getting? Means every C++ program is ultimately going to get converted into C program. It is not a separate language. C++ is just an enhanced form of C. You can say it is a superset of C, like this. C++ language you will be studying somewhere sometime in your academics. So C++ and C means you can say every C++ program is a C program is a C++ program. So in that compiler they wanted to incorporate C++ also. So they just made the changes in that compiler which will incorporate this thing, and that was called as a C99. But in C99 also there are a lot of features which are not in this first C or that KNRC or this ANSI C. So in this ANSI C, what features are there? Many more additional features are added here. Clear? If time permit, I'll tell you about that too. Okay, what are the features incorporated here? Okay, and after that then there are so many versions have come, like C11, C17. C11 means 2011, then C17 in 2017. So many are there, but at least till C99 you should remember. Getting? Okay. So main you can say that कि today whatever C we are using is of ANSI C only. We are not talking about the next one, but if suppose time permit, so I'll tell you about what are the special features incorporated in C99.